Hey, what is everybody? It's been Cooks here, and one of my last videos I did was months back with Conor McGregor and everything like that, and those Diaz fights, and so now obviously we got this new Mayweather versus McGregor fight that I'm really stoked to watch, even though like we just had Kovalev Ward, we have GGG versus Canelo in September. Um, this fight's only a few months away, so I'm gonna be getting into a few things that some people just don't even know. They're just so quick to say this about Conor. They don't even realize what he did in his past, how he did it, how long he's been doing it, what he's still doing, and because there's been a lot of accusations that made me make this video. And I've been watching constant interviews. I've been watching every possible interview with these two in it. And so, yeah, the first thing I noticed with a bunch of the people that don't want to see this fight, or, and real quick, the people that don't want to see the fight are they're just like mad in a way. And I understand, it's like, but at the end of the day, Leonard Ellaby, which is Floyd's basically promoter, he handles the fight, with Dana, like just the way Dana is with Conor, how they get together and do the business side of things, set up fights. Said in an interview that just came out yesterday or today that Floyd only wanted this fight. He only wanted Conor. He was not gonna come out of retirement unless it was Conor, because of he was going to get what he wanted, which is the big payday. And so that's directly on Floyd's, it's what Floyd wants, and Conor's happy. Leonard Ellaby, Dana White, Conor's manager, I forget his name, I don't see him a lot, but the only thing they keep saying, because people keep trying to get specific numbers of what they're making, they just keep saying that everybody's happy, all parties involved. So everybody obviously is happy. They're getting what they want, and if you don't like the fight, then you don't have to watch it, but more than likely, you're going to probably watch it. Either way, it's a huge fight, and if you don't tune in, you're only missing a piece of history that's probably never going to happen again. But and that's it on the people that don't want the fight. That's Floyd wants it and Conor wants it. Everybody's happy. So now let's get on the other point. I've been seeing this a lot, and one of you watching this probably have you probably said this, or you've seen somebody definitely. There's no way you missed this. Conor doesn't, he doesn't have any boxing, skills at all, or I've seen all kinds of things. So, first of all, and you can watch the interview with Conor's one of Conor's coaches, which is basically his boxing coach. He's not really boxing, boxing oriented, but it's on Ariel Helwani's interview. Just did it like the other day. Talking about, Conor's been training with boxing gloves in a boxing ring for as far as 10 years back, since he's known him. And I've seen interviews with Conor explaining this, and other interviews. Like I said, I've been keeping up with. I've watched Floyd for years. I've always been a boxing fan. I've been sort of raised up on, and I've been watching Conor one or two fights after he started, because I didn't really know. I wasn't familiar with that division. I didn't really like it too much, but I've been watching all of those accumulated videos, all this time, and so I know what Conor has experienced based on what he's said and what his coaches that have been with him since day one, because they always talk about day one with each other, have said. Conor has even sparred, especially with the last Diaz, Diaz 2. He brought in high-level Olympic boxers. He brought in one or two pro boxers. And even though, it's not a Floyd level, obviously, which, isn't saying much because Floyd obviously is in the top 5% of defensive boxers. That's spanning across weight classes, obviously. He's in the 1% for his weight class on defensive because he's mastered the defensive part of boxing, which obviously comes with it with counterpunching. He's mastered that as well. But I'll also lean into the factors that I think will make the fight go one way or another, and as I finish up this point. But Conor has put in the rounds. He's gone toe-to-toe with high Olympic boxers, like I said, one or two pro boxers, and he's even bringing in a few. I know he's brung in one or two pro boxers already for this Floyd McGregor fight. I think he even posted a picture with one of the boxers from a similar weight class, I believe, or if not the same weight class, because I know he's around 170 right now. But yeah, I mean, his coach said that Conor's putting in 12 rounds. He's putting in the rounds. So obviously, if he couldn't put in those rounds, because anybody that knows boxing knows that you start off with a few rounds and you progress, and it takes years. It takes time. It's not something you just jump into, because this is where people they get misinformed about MMA and boxing. Obviously, boxing, you gotta progress, but that's what your sole discipline is boxing. So you're gonna have to adjust to rounds, your conditioning as you're starting out, and you progress on and on to your later years. With MMA, obviously your standard boxing fight is that you always basically see is what? 12 rounds. And in MMA, you typically see 3 rounds. But that 3 rounds is 15 minutes. 12 rounds, you have 3-minute rounds. So 36 minutes. But the thing, I'll go ahead and explain this and then get into the one way or another between the fighters, however way it will go. But with 36 minutes solely on using your hands, you don't have to prepare. I just saw a comment the other day saying, "Oh, Conor can't wait to get hit. He's not going to be prepared for getting hit in the body." He has been kneed in his stomach. He has to be ready for leg kicks. He's had to worry about legs. He has to worry about all kinds of things, grappling, and now his sole purpose for training in this fight, obviously there's a few different factors besides just using your hands, because you got to be coordinated with your stance, because he has to change up his stance, obviously he isn't going to have a huge wide stance that they saw in that sparring video from a year back, which was a year ago, and he was not even for sure at all. This was and Leonard Ellaby basically said that this fight even got done a few weeks ago. It wasn't something just huge, drawn out. It was basically just in a few weeks. So this was a year back we're talking about. And that sparring video was not to be taken even remotely serious. It's sparring in general. There's new sparring of Floyd. He was getting tagged up quite a few times. But does that transition into the ring? No, it's sparring. They're just starting out, and that was... they're just starting out their camp, but that was a year ago, and that video was there's nothing to go off of. Maybe for the time he was saying, yeah, this maybe wasn't gonna work, but he had a wide stance. He was just being crafty, trying to even just promote some talks about Floyd versus Conor, and that was about it with that. But as far as like I was saying with the conditioning aspect, like Conor has said, he can give up jiu-jitsu, he can give up grappling, wrestling, which is basically the same thing as grappling, but he taekwondo, kicking stuff, because he's pretty known for taking taekwondo classes and lead up to his fight. So all of that is gone. So what does that leave Conor to have? He has, all the time in the world until the fight to focus solely on boxing. And if you're not familiar with Conor, you should know. I guess you're learning this now. He is a workhorse. So is Floyd. Not putting down Floyd at all. But Conor is 28 years old, and here's where I'm getting into the lean on both sides, one way or another, between the fighters. Let's go through Conor real quick. Conor is 28 years old, about to turn 29 next month. So he is fresh off of a fight, absolutely destroying the lightweight champion, barely even got touched, and just starched Eddie Alvarez. And he's sharp mental-wise because he's always been sharp mental-wise. But not only that, he is so confident in the ability of, in his chance of actually beating Floyd. He's got mural on the wall, paint of him with a straight left knocking out Floyd. I don't know if it's a knockout, but I imagine it would with his power in his left hand. Like I said, he's fresh, he's sharp. He just got off a fight back in November, and it's not like, oh yeah, that was in November. I was a little long back. No, he's been still training. Took time off from his kid being born recently a few months ago, and now he's still been training. His coach said he's putting in all of the rounds, 12 rounds in boxing. So people gravitate towards Floyd being this masterful boxer. And one positive I'll give real quick before I get into Floyd's problems he might face, in which there are some that he is actually facing, which as 40 years old, that's just a fact. You get worse as you get older, but it doesn't mean you can't win. Is that Floyd Mayweather masterful boxer, defensive genius, and he's facing a guy that is also very good with his defense, but on the other hand, he's very good with his offense. Floyd lacks offensive power, but he has offensive capabilities. In his people like to look at a lot of the time that you'll see this on highlight reels, and I'm sorry guys, I just woke up. My mind's kind of all over the place right now, trying to think about this, but you see constant highlight reels of Floyd Mayweather. He'll throw, he'll dodge, whatever, punch, a hook, anything from another fighter, and then he'll immediately counterpunch. Immediately. Well, a lot of these highlight reels are coming from older videos, you know, the Pacquiao fight, I won't even get into that, but, because there's all kinds of things that just shroud that fight, which is, you know, you can say one thing, it'll open up a whole argument, but I won't even get into that. But, you know, I like to talk about how people are actually saying, you look at Canelo, what he did to Canelo. Canelo, that fight was, I remember watching the fight live, but I didn't actually remember the date. I think it was probably 6 or 7 years ago. I think. I don't even remember. I just remember watching the fight. But, I mean, if you compare Canelo then to now, there is almost no comparison. Zero. Canelo was clearly shaken, I think, because I was a lot younger at the time. But in my opinion of watching it, he just looked totally stagnant. He just looked frozen, like he didn't know what to do. And he didn't look like he did now. You know, like he does now. And, you know, yeah, that was then. Maybe he learned a thing or two since then, because it's been some years, and look what he's doing now. And he's about to fight GGG, another dangerous, great boxer. But some things on the downside for Floyd. And one thing you gotta realize here, I respect both of these guys down to a T. I love Conor. Floyd, it took me some years. I mean, I respect what he's done in the ring. Even though it might not be the most exciting thing or anything, I mean, look what he's done out, you know, as far as, you know, making money like no other boxer's made. And he's done that. So you respect him for that. But Floyd is 40 years old. He has not fought in basically 2 years. He is facing adversity in a way that he's never faced it before. And the reason I say that is, people say that, oh, you know, Conor's going to give him trouble because he's a southpaw. Oh, but, and they're, you know, Floyd supporters, well, Floyd's fought southpaws and his record is 49-0. But Conor is aware of the fact that he is not going in there to mimic a boxer. He is going in there like he did, like he flirted with in that sparring video. People are still judging, that blows my mind. I don't even understand why. From a year ago, before he even thought this fight was even going to ever happen. He was focused on a totally different fight. He had revenge for a rematch, you know, this time to actually prepare. So, because Diaz had good boxing. Diaz is known for, you know, sparring with Andre Ward. So he was preparing for that. But he was also preparing to fight at a weight that he is not, that, you know, he's totally new with, you know, for fighting. So Conor is crafty, and he is not gonna. I mean, you see how he is. If you're familiar with him, you see how he, like I was saying earlier about his defense and offense. He is so good at just immediately countering. He just, it's so weird because now you have, I mean, he had the reach on Eddie Alvarez. He had the height on Eddie Alvarez. But Eddie Alvarez was aggressive, and Floyd is not aggressive. Some reason, you know, that's some reason right there to point out this might be even a stagnant, boring fight, possibly, because you have one guy that's super defensive, and Conor's never fought somebody as defensive as Floyd. So how does that factor in? Because Floyd's never really fought anybody as defensive, as gifted with defense and offense as Conor. And I've watched a lot of his fights. you always have a lot of people like Maidana. People compare Conor to Maidana, like, oh, you have only a chance if you fight like Maidana. Let me tell you real quick why that's not true or accurate. Yes, did he get stunned pretty good by Maidana? Yes, he did. Because Floyd is not really the greatest at handling pressure. You may say, wait, what are you talking about? Yes, he does have fights where he's handled pressure. With the Ricky Hatton fight, he handled pressure really well there, you know. But comparing Ricky Hatton to the likes of, say, you know, Conor in terms of movement, like Maidana in terms of movement. Imagine Maidana with Conor's style. He's got the power, but with his style. See, you probably don't realize what that is because you haven't seen it yet. That's why you're about to see it August 26th. Conor has dangerous power. People say, oh, Floyd's a 5 or 6 time, 6 division world champion, and Conor's only a 2 division world champ. People are not realizing the weight classes in terms of boxing, in terms of MMA. In MMA you have 145, 155. You skip 15 pounds to 170, then you skip 15 pounds to 185. Boxing is way different in terms of weight classes. Barely anything in terms of weight, especially for cutting, in terms of cutting weight and stuff. Nothing for Floyd, especially when he doesn't have to go much out of bounds in terms of weight. I mean, he has a skill, and walk around weight, barely cutting, or sometimes he has to cut, a good bit amount of weight. Conor skipped. He was fighting 145, just destroyed the champion, unbeaten for 10 years, 10 years champ, and destroyed him in 13 seconds. People thought that was a fake, that was just by chance. In the locker room, pre-fight warm-up, he was shown with somebody had a camera set up. It showed him practicing the same movement, the same punch, and he did that in the first 13 seconds of the first round. There's just another reason, he's got that vision, man. There's something special about Conor, and people need to realize that and see that he has great potential in beating Floyd. But like I was saying, he totally skipped 155. Remember, this is he just came off fresh of winning the UFC featherweight championship, 145 pounds. And he hasn't fought since he won the 155-pound title in Cage Warriors, which is before his UFC career even started. And he skips 155 because he thought he was about to. They were about to set him up for the 155. Be the first ever to have 2 belts at one time. 155 pounds. His opponent breaks his foot 12 or 11 days before the fight. So Conor is already preparing 10 or 11 days out to fight 155 pounds. And now, fighter broke his foot. So he didn't have to take this 170-pound fight, but he said, I'll do it. He didn't have, because I have to stress this because people are still taking this, they don't look at the facts around that fight. They're still taking this as, look what, he got choked out and stuff. He even saw his interview, listened to his coaches and his dietitian. He was constantly just eating. He basically stopped on cardio, stopped on a lot of preparation, 12, 11 days out, which was, because that's one of the most important times, is you're maintaining, you gotta, not maintaining, but you have to get the weight. You have to get your weight right, excuse me. So, Conor stuffed his face, this is 11 days, 12 days out. And people think, that Diaz was a slouch. Is he has cardio like no other. You know what I'm saying? In terms of UFC, his cardio is great. And I think he just got off the couch. Obviously got sick, but obviously he was great, ready to go for the fight. But you saw what Conor did. He brought in Chris Van Heerden to fight, to spar, to help him prepare for that Diaz rematch. Conor, for that Diaz rematch, also brung in a Olympic boxer. He brought in one or two pro boxers, and he put in the rounds. So this fight is going to be of epic proportions because, like I said, man, Floyd, and I just watched today. I just watched his, new leaked footage. Obviously, it's only June. I mean, there's only 8 days until July, so I mean, he's basically got 34, 36 days till fight day, but leave some room for error because they got to stop a few days out. But you know what I mean. It's Conor puts in the rounds, he puts in the time, and he's been fighting championship fights in UFC, which he has the condition for, which is what? 5 times 5, 25 minutes. 12 times 3, 36 minutes. So think about it. 5-minute rounds in general. He went 5 rounds. Obviously, he was gassed, but that was at 170. Look what he did right after to win the 155-pound championship. People talking about Conor like, oh, he doesn't defend his belt. He absolutely destroyed the 10 years unbeaten featherweight champion in 13 seconds. It wasn't, a farce or, it wasn't by chance. He was shown he was practicing the same movement, same punch in the locker room before the fight. And 155-pound championship. Oh, Conor's about to get destroyed. Conor's about to get out wrestled. Conor's about to get knocked out. Conor absolutely embarrasses the 155-pound champion. Eddie Alvarez, respect to him, he didn't even know what happened. He said in the post-interview, he didn't even know where the punch came from. And when the first punch hit him, he said it was so fast. And this is a powerful dude, twitchy guy, very quick, explosive. Conor has never looked so good at 155. Even in his Cage Warrior days, he looked totally different from what he did in the Eddie Alvarez fight. Great diet, great phenomenal shape. His timing is great. I mean, Conor does not have to worry about all those other fighting disciplines. So, those 25 minutes, imagine him 25 minutes, no jiu-jitsu, no grappling, no wrestling. Clinching, basically grappling, they still take energy, it's exhausting. Especially when you have almost a 190 pound weight, Nate Diaz, grappling with you. That's obviously going to take some, breath out of you. But, all this lines up for Conor. You may think you're crazy. 49 have tried, 49 have failed. Some have come close. Because there's been a few times where Floyd's been stunned. And he held on. You can see some of the... they have videos of it, where it shows all the times he's been stunned. But, this is going to be a good fight. It really is going to be a good fight. Floyd's never fought anybody like Conor. And Conor's never fought anyone like Floyd. Like I said, Floyd has mastered boxing against other boxers. Conor is not your traditional boxer that Floyd's used to seeing. You have to take that into account. He has trouble with southpaws already. But Conor's unorthodox, and he's a southpaw. 28, fresh, active, sharp. Floyd, comfortable. He's comfortable, and he has every right to be. He's made tons of money. He's successful, great, awesome. But he's comfortable. He's got constant people, media saying, if you don't beat Conor in one round, if you don't knock Conor out one round, if you don't do this, and they're constantly asking him that, telling him that, and you see, like, I mean, if you haven't been keeping up with these videos, there are constantly people telling him, if you don't do this, then you prove boxing is not this, and so how does that, manifest into Floyd's mind? What about the pre-fight antics? How does that, happen? We don't know how that will go. Conor is different in some press conferences. But, this is a long video, but I haven't made a video in 10 months, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really think that Conor will win this fight by TKO within 6 to 7 rounds. My other prediction is it goes a distance, unanimous decision, Floyd. That's the only way I can see one of the two fighters, both of the fighters winning or, losing. So, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I will be coming out with new videos and stuff like that. Then other, gaming videos, reviews on Marvel, stuff like that. So if you're interested in things such as that, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, share. I appreciate it, and have a nice day. And peace.